Hello, I'm here today with three black belts in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu from Austria. What is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu? For the main audience, it's probably explained very fast as it's pretty similar to Judo, but with a strong focus on the ground and many more techniques, especially many more allowed techniques in tournaments. So we'll start to introduce the guys today are here with me. Thank you very much for coming. And please start with Martn. Who you are, where do you train, what's your lineage probably?
Okay, my name is Martn Guggi. I come from Klagenfurt, from Carinthia. It's in the south of Austria. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. I was the first one in Austria, not so the guy who lives in Austria, the other black belts who came from abroad to Austria. I was the first Austrian guy who got this black belt. My professor is Gracie, and the lineage is from Carlos Gracie Jr. to Gracie to Gracie and then to me. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is my main focus, but during my training experience, I also got a black belt in Luta Livre. For me, it's very similar to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's also a grappling art where our main focus is on the ground. And I also, I'm a teacher for Ginástica Natural. It's a movement style of movements who are very similar to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but more for exercising, for stretching and training for yourself.
To the main audience, how could you explain it?
Ginástica Natural was founded by a guy called Professor Álvaro Romano. He took some jiu-jitsu movements and he said, okay, in jiu-jitsu you have to train with a partner, but sometimes it's good to do some stretching, weight training, coordination training by yourself. And he started to develop a method where he can train by himself. And it's, yeah, I think there's nothing which you can compare to, but it's similar to yoga. But still, if you know jiu-jitsu, the main movements come from jiu-jitsu.
Orlando, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Machado Neto. I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I got my black belt almost 15 years ago, so I'm black belt 4th degree. My master is Vinicius Campelo and Otávio Couto. Vini is student from Rickson Gracie, so come from Rickson, Hélio Gracie. And Otávio Couto is from Jacaré, Romero Jacaré, that lives in America, in Atlanta. And basically I start training with 4 years old. I was already going to the gym because my stepfather is also black belt. So when he was going to train, I sit there and I was waiting for him. Sometimes a little bit bored, the train doesn't finish and that. Sometimes I was playing around with the guys and messing up with the training. They go, hey, please stay on the side and that, I start like that, watching the training, and I could see how the jiu-jitsu grow in Rio, like with the Gracies and all the rivalry between them and the schools and everything. So I had the opportunity to see all this alive. I was many times in the gyms when I saw this all happen. But I really started training like daily with 13, 14 years old. Then I could go along to the gym to train, and then I started like daily training and that. And yeah, that's it. I'm here living in Vienna since 9 years, where I have my school. And
I want to underline that you're the highest rank in Austria, a black belt 4th degree, and one of the highest in Europe.
Yeah, I'm the highest rank in Austria, and I was the first black belt to live. To start teaching and to live in Austria, the first black belt. Yeah, Martn was the first Austrian black belt. He was the first one to get the black belt in Austria, I guess. But I was the first black belt to come to teach and to live in Austria. Yeah.
Rick, please introduce yourself. You also have a very interesting story.
My name is Rick Hunley. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. I come from USA. I come from Florida. And I moved to Austria for a woman. I came for love. And we noticed that there was not a huge group here for people that did Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and this is my passion. I've done it for 15 plus years now, and I started also at a young age doing another grappling, so it helped. And I wanted to show Austria what has helped me out so much and spread that to really help the rest of y'all, the rest of the people here. My heritage is, my instructor is David Hurley. His instructor is Carlos Machado, and he got his belt from the Gracie family. It's pretty much.
Go on. What would you say? What's your personal focus in BJJ?
My personal focus here is to help people embrace something, a lifestyle. This is a sport. It's also self-defense. It decides on which way you really want to go with it. There are options, but you can combine those, and it really changes your life. It changes the way you walk around. If you're confident and you're not worried about anything, but it also makes you humble enough to not want to cause any problems. And that's very important, especially here, because y'all are, I believe, the third most peaceful land in the world. But the people walk around like they're worried. Why? Let's be confident and know there's nothing to worry about. I'm happy to help with that. I want to help the kids, the women, so that they're not scared when they walk down the street. I want the men to know what they're capable of. We as men need to know that. And yeah, I think that's something that I could really help with. These guys can definitely help with. We are covering the whole country right now. It's a huge, popular sport that's happening. And yeah, if you get into it now, you're not going to be the guy that got left behind.
Do you want to add something to that, or do you see it similar?
Yeah, of course. What Ricky said is completely right. It changed. Everybody say, Jiu-Jitsu changed my life and that. I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain the reasons. I don't know if it's maybe it come from Brazil, from Rio. Like it bring a little bit of our way of life, our lifestyle. So people are more relaxed. They play with each other, so they are more relaxed. And like when I first came here to Europe, like I started teaching seminars. I was coming just to sometimes to stay 1 week, sometimes to stay 2-3 weeks. And I was traveling around all Europe and teaching seminars. That was like 15 years ago. And since 15 years ago, I saw there was a change on the way of the people who practice Jiu-Jitsu, like on their behavior. Some people that I met 15 years ago and I meet today, and they are completely different. They walk different, they talk different, and they seems to be more relaxed. Seems to be they're more in peace inside, you know. So they feel. I feel them like, man, you're different today. I saw some guys like 15 years ago, they start training Jiu-Jitsu. They were white belt, and then nowadays they are black belt, and it changed a lot. I see that, man, you're not. Are you the same? Like, you know. So it's come with your life, you know. It's something that once you start training, you get addicted to that, and it become like a part of your life. It's what is Jiu-Jitsu? Jiu-Jitsu, I live that. It's my hobby, and it's like after my work, I have to go there and I have to spend my time there to interact with my friends, and to, like, some of the guys have kids, and the kids are already training also with me, and that the Jiu-Jitsu bring you a lot of pleasure, you know. Like, it's how can I say? Yeah, you get addicted to that, and I think that's one of the reasons that today some statistics say that is the martial art that more grow all over the world.
Like you said, the people also bring the children to train, they bring friends. That's what I see very often, that Jiu-Jitsu brings people together.
Exactly. Yeah.
And builds a lot of trust.
It brings the whole environment, and that it's hard. You see somebody start training Jiu-Jitsu and like they stop. Like I have students from very long time, you know, and that's very nice because you start like becoming part of the family, like you know the parents of him, I know the family of him, you know the history of this guy, you know. And then they, like, some of my students, they came to Rio to train, some like stay in my house in Rio, so they got to know my family as well, and we started like building a big family, you know. I have students like that, they are lawyers, some doctors, some like, so in different ways you bring everybody together, students a lot, you know. So
everybody's the same on the mat.
Exactly.
Martin,
I agree with what you're saying right now about it bringing everyone together. Look, the first Austrian black belt, a Brazilian straight from the home of where we are, an American, and we're all here talking about our passion. It's the same one passion. I really think that's a very valid point because a lot of people in the gym say this is their family. We are not just a team. At some point, when you spend the amount of time, he's had his black belt for 15 years, right? He's been, I'm sure, longer than that doing it. So those people that he kept around him, if you have those people around you every day, this is not your team. This is your home away from home. This is your family. You have a camaraderie that is unlike most other sports.
Where do you want to guys see yourself in, let's say, 5 years? Are there special goals for you, Martin?
I think we all change, okay, right? Every day we are learning. We're learning as people. We're learning on the mat, and I think that's the most important thing. It's the attitude we have. We have towards life. We have towards training. We have towards our friends. And for me, this is always I want to grow, to grow as a person, to grow as a teacher, to grow as an athlete. And for me, Jiu-Jitsu is a way to see this. It's not the only way, but it's our way, which we choose for ourselves. And I think that's where we can help also other people. For me, like I never had a teacher when I started, so I had to travel around a lot. I met Orlando during this time. I met a lot of other guys in Europe. And for me, I always wanted to provide my students a methodology of teaching, which I couldn't get. Because when you are only in one place for a certain time, you cannot get everything. And that's what I want to give to my students. Some want to compete, some train for self-defense and for fun. And I think that's the big advantage of Jiu-Jitsu, which we can that we can help everybody. And it's also like, it's a smart way of fighting. When you are Thai boxing or boxing, you always have to punch somebody in the face. You have to if you don't want to get a blue eye or a bloody nose, don't train. In Jiu-Jitsu, you can train every day. You get some injuries too, but it's a smarter way of fighting because you don't have to hurt your partner. A couple of months ago, I was talking with my Professor Renato, and he told me a story. He said a woman came to him and told him, "Man, I do kickboxing. It's fantastic, and if I have problems on the street, I will knock the other guy out." And he said, interesting. How often did you knock somebody out in training? And she said, never. I said, that's interesting. So why do you expect that you will knock somebody out if you have a real situation? And he said, but in Jiu-Jitsu, we do it every day. We spar, the people go hard on you, and we choke people out every day, or we try to. We're not doing it, but we try to. So it's the same thing. The fighting on the mats in the gym is the same, almost the same, like in the self-defense situation, and in other martial arts, that's not the case.
Yeah, with a choke or an armbar, it's easy to start. In the last second with a punch, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, but I mean, it's in the beginning it's hard too, because in the beginning you always the nail, and it's hard to survive. I think the first 2 years, but if you pass this time, I think you passed 80% of the people you start with, because of course in Jiu-Jitsu also people drop out, and we all know we start with people they are not part of our training anymore because they stopped doing it. But I think that's what I want to continue doing in the next few years.
Talking about punching people into the face, there's a huge boom around MMA, mixed martial arts. Where do you see that related to BJJ or chances to grow for BJJ?
For sure. If you're focused on any part of MMA and you know about it, you know about the UFC. The very first UFC was won by Gracie.
Gracie?
Yeah.
Gracie.
And he won a tournament style. It wasn't one fight that night. He won a tournament. He fought, won, fought again, won, fought again. People, different weights, different martial arts, and what he did that day was prove that Brazilian Jiu Jitsu was superior to every other form at that time. Now everyone that does any type of MMA is going to learn Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Maybe not to be good at it, but to know how to get out of it. It's needed at this level if you want to be good. It's needed.
Yeah, I guess the MMA brings a lot of some positive things to the jiu-jitsu, but also negative things. You know, like it helps sometimes, and sometimes also disturbs. You know, like in my opinion, like helped a lot in the beginning. Why? Because the world had to see what was it. No matter you like it or you don't like it, no matter you think, no, that's MMA. It's too violent and whatever. But people are looking at that this exists, and there is one guy that fight on the ground. The guy is weaker than the others, and he's winning. He won not the first time UFC. He won the first 4 UFC tournaments, and then the other guys like, oh, I have to do that. I have to train this, because if I don't train this, it's getting too easy because the guy is winning me on 30 seconds, on 1 minute. What the hell is it? You know, there's something wrong. I have to learn that. So nowadays, so that helps to spread the jiu-jitsu. If you go to an island in Caribbean, a small island, or whatever, in Thailand, or wherever you go in the world, maybe you don't even know, and when you get there, oh, there is jiu-jitsu here. You know, I have a couple of students traveling to Malta lately, or whatever. And like you're gonna find a jiu-jitsu school there. Even if maybe you go in the internet, you don't see it, but once you're there, oh, they are training jiu-jitsu here. Nice, you know. So that's also like that's very nice, because a lot of people like in the world that practice Brazilian jiu-jitsu, now they are combining tourism with jiu-jitsu. So they want to travel to make a tourism, but they don't want to stay without training. So they also want to train. And then they combine. Everything gets easier because they go to a jiu-jitsu school. They know where can they party? Where can they sleep? Where can they eat? And like everybody get together, and that's very interesting. But coming back to the MMA aspect, what brings negative for me is sometimes people don't have so much enough information. They come to a gym and they see, and I wanna train MMA. I wanna fight MMA. This person don't come with any background. They never train a sport before, and that MMA is a tournament. In my opinion, like once you decide to fight MMA, you should have a background. You should be good in your sport. You should have a career in your sport. You should have competed to learn how to compete, and that. Okay, so I'm so good on it. So let's try to add up something else, and let's see what I can do in MMA as well. But people come the first day in the gym and they, I want to do MMA because he saw this on the TV, so he want to do that. And I think that's the wrong way to start. You know, the martial art give you a lot of discipline, teach you discipline, teach you respect, teach you that you had the whole environment, you know, that this family feeling that shows you that. And sometimes the guy who come straight, he land in a MMA school or whatever, and he's not gonna see that. Like he's gonna come here. Oh, what can I do? He trained by himself. One trained with shoes, the other trained with helmet, the other trained with short, one trained with t-shirt, one trained with kimono, only the pants, and one is doing something here on the ground that he think is jiu-jitsu, the other is doing kicking a bag every day. So and that's get crazy, you know. So
would you say there's more discipline within BJJ?
No doubt, not only in BJJ, whatever martial art that you're gonna do, normally you have more discipline, you have more I mean, not only talking about the discipline, but I think that's a kind of respect to the mat. Like our mat, the place, what our tatami, the place we train is our house, you know. So that's the place. They should respect it. If you once you are there, you have to respect this place. That the place. It's like sometimes you spend more time there than you sitting on this mat than in your couch from your house. You know. So why not to respect this? This is like your temple.
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu has a very positive impact on people and it's growing worldwide. People love it. What do you think is the next step? I mean, they're talking about BJJ becoming Olympic. Where do you see the pros and cons, Martn?
BJJ right now is, I think it's still an amateur sport. So you cannot live from it really. Some people can, but only a few of people can live. I mean, the competitors. If you're a teacher, having a school is different, but if you want to live from competing, I think it's hard for a lot of people. There are now some tournaments where you get paid more, and yeah, there's a grow to make Jiu-Jitsu more professional. Some people want to see Jiu-Jitsu in the Olympics one day because now they're talking about to kick wrestling out, and there would be a place for Jiu-Jitsu perhaps. But I don't know if it's only good for Jiu-Jitsu if it gets to the Olympics, because for the athletes it's getting better. Athletes get more popular, the people around to get Jiu-Jitsu more. But on the other side, when you see what happened to Judo, when Judo got in the Olympics in 1964, they changed Judo. So Judo is not the same art anymore than it was before. And why? Because when you see the Olympics, it's a sport for the media. It's a sport for people to watch it. And I don't know, in Jiu-Jitsu we have the problem that most of the people who watch Jiu-Jitsu are Jiu-Jitsu practitioners. They practice Jiu-Jitsu. They are not from, I don't know, a woman to cleaning the house, watching Jiu-Jitsu. Most people who watch Jiu-Jitsu are training Jiu-Jitsu.
What are you afraid would that take away from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, how it's now?
Jiu-Jitsu was always, what I liked in Jiu-Jitsu, that we were always proud of, that we don't have so many rules, that there are not so many techniques not allowed, so you can do everything. That's why it was also good for self-defense, for MMA. But when it gets to the Olympics, then probably they will change the sport, that the rules, to make it more attractive for the media. And that's what changed Jiu-Jitsu too. I don't know if this could happen, but we will see.
I agree with him. You know, I think adding it to the Olympics, they're going to want it more of a spectator-friendly sport. And it'll be very hard to see what kind of rules they implement on how they're going to keep it entertaining for people that don't know what it is. Because that's who watches the Olympics. The people that watch skiing, yeah, maybe they go skiing. The people that watch the shooting, they're probably not doing much shooting. The people that watch the swimming, maybe they swim, but they don't swim laps as fast as they can, as much as they can. So it has to be a spectator. And right now with Jiu-Jitsu, we have so many different tournaments. We have ADCC, NAGA, we have IBJJF, we have submission only, no times. We have stand-up Jiu-Jitsu that people do. There are too many options for them to classify all of that, what we came from, to one sport and say, this is what it is.
You mentioned submission-only events. What's your opinion on that? How does it influence
I like
BJJ?
the submission-only with no time events a lot because it takes away points. It takes away from people that are stalling. It takes away from the guy who will get his takedown, his side control, and lay on you. It makes it to where the guy has to finish. And this goes to some of the respect we were talking about before. You know, we play a game where we're trying to break your arm or put you to sleep. And the thing is, at any moment, you can tap, and we let go. Now, you have to respect that person and have enough control at the same time to let go. They have to respect you enough to not want their arm broke or go to sleep in front of everyone. They have to admit defeat, they surrender, they submit. That's all it is. And that's very important. You know, in a lot of other sports, when you're watching boxing, no one's going to be like, you hit me way too hard, I'm done. It don't happen. They stand up in front of each other, square up, and get brain damage from hitting each other in the face over and over. Here, at any moment, if you feel like you're done, you're done. You need to have some restraint and respect. And that's a camaraderie that we all spoke about already that comes from what we do. I do like, as the submission only, I like that they do not have the rules that the IBJJF have and everything, and they allow the heel hooks. They allow some of these cranks. They put in all submissions pretty much, except for, you know, I can't think of one submission that submission onlys don't have. Neck cranks, they allow it. They allow you to do pretty much whatever you can to finish this person, and then you win. That's the only way you can win.
Yeah, I guess depend of the tournament. Like any tournament can put what is allowed, or they can change the rule. Depend. But about the submission only, like you say, sometimes the guy have to submit. Yeah, to win he should submit. But what's happening, like, and what I saw also in the past, like I saw many fights that was already 30 minutes. Like fight, I remember I watched one fight that was like 30 minutes, the same guy on the side control on top of the other holding, because so sometimes it can, like very often it get less dynamic. You take the dynamic away from the game. Instead, like the idea is that you see the submission, but very often you see the opposite way. If you see the last event, for example, Metamoris and that, you like the guys knew that he would fight longer, so he didn't want to risk so much because he knew that that this fight might take 1 hour, 2 hours, I don't know. So he didn't want to risk so much to lose a position. I saw fights in the past that the guy stayed on top of the other for 30 minutes. He was there and nothing happened. You know, so like it didn't exist yet. A lot of people talk, criticize, for example, the IBJJF. IBJJF is for those who don't know, is which rules the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. That is, everything is the IBJJF. Okay, couple new things are coming, but it's gonna take very long to reach the same size like IBJJF. IBJJF is in charge of the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and what everybody like to, and it's until now is the most, how can I say, the rules that is working. Everybody like to watch, everybody enjoy it. Even if you criticize sometimes the IBJJF, but that's what is working. And I think it's they are doing a very good job. They try to change to make something more attractive and that, but like I love to watch the combos, the fights in IBJJF. Okay, however you come new events like Metamoris and that didn't got as dynamic as IBJJF.
What do you think about the EBI and their new rules? Do you know much about it? The Eddie Bravo Invitational. They make sure that they stay active. That is a main part of it. It's submission only with a time, and after that time they put in an overtime, which is you start from a position and you go for that submission instantly. If they escape, they're out. If you get it, you get it. The other person has a chance to do the same exact thing.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like it. There are a couple new things, new ideas, but you are changing. There is not jiu-jitsu anymore. Like Eddie Bravo, like he tried to put. There was a tournament. I heard that you can slap the other. You know, so you should. Yeah. So. So it's not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like if you change it, you're gonna.
Original Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu had punching and kicking. Yes, it was self-defense. That's what it was for. It's become a sport now. The new style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the sole purpose of defeating the old style Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like it's very complex. Like you train in the gym, you train self-defense situations, and that, but. Competing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was always the same. Like when you put the guy, when it was always the same. Like there is no strikes, and you fight to submit your opponent. That's the idea. You start stand and you fight to submit your opponent. If you watch fights from like Rickson Grace, from the first tournaments that exist of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is exactly the same fight what you watch now in IBJJF and the new tournament. Can be that change the style of the fighters. The way that they fight could be changed a little bit, but that's normal. And the evolution of the sport, you're always searching for what can you do to defeat this opponent. What can you do? So the style of the fighters change a little bit, but even the points that we use today is the same point that we used like in the beginning, like many years ago. It's the same kind of point system. And the point system exists because it's based in a better position. You got a better position. It's like it's based on the self-defense. In this position, this guy can defend himself better. He's forward. He's better. That's why the points are, because it's better to be mounted on the guy. Then you make 4 points. Then the guy mount on you. Okay.
So one side, Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is evolving. The rules are changing. It's trying to get more understandable for the mainstream audience. On the other hand, there's some new rule sets, new organizations who try to bring back the old times of BJJ. I want to throw something in there. In Germany, there will be a national league, like one organization with one rule set pretty soon. What's your opinion on that, or how does it mix all that up? Do you think it's good for Austria too?
Yeah, I think it's no matter what, like you're saying. In my opinion, for sure, there are many leagues in Germany, many federations, many organizations exist already. It's not gonna be for sure exist already, and so it's gonna be one more. What they are gonna do with that, we can now sit here and we sign a paper and we create here the Austrian League. You can go tomorrow, you create the Austrian Association, and you tomorrow create. So everybody can create everything. Maybe exists and we don't even know. You know, I create here the Jiu-Jitsu, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Association, League, or whatever you want to create, you can do it. Maybe exists 10 of them and we don't know. What matters is what is going to be done with that. Like what they are going to do with this league. So that's important. Like I'm pro to help, to support, and to take part in anything that has a quality, you know, that has a background on that. But I don't support things that like want to, for example, to made another sport is gonna use this opportunity. I want to make money with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but and then I'm gonna organize a tournament of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this guy maybe train Thai box, you know, maybe he has an association of another martial art, and he saw opportunity. I'm gonna produce a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament because I'm gonna collect money from the participants, the amateur participants, and I'm gonna. I'm against that. You have to know what you're doing. I'm not gonna support what you don't know. You never.
That might the point that would change if there's a national league. It would be organized by the state. There would be.
It's phenomenal for this country because honestly, when I first got here, I've gone to multiple small tournaments, and it's run by gyms trying to support their students in the tournament. Their coaches are referees for their event, and it's not right. It should be a sanctioned company that oversees Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they should be in charge. I think it should take away that, because when another person comes to compete from another country, comes here and they get treated wrong because they're not an affiliate of this team, that's wrong. They will never come back.
I agree. It can be a company or can be whatever organization that is going to take care of that, but it should be made by professional.
Agreed.
Should be made by a it cannot be like, for example, the rules in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that like they cannot get somebody here. Come here. You are going to be the referee. Okay, you have to do that, and that is not easy. Like I'm 15 years black belt. like the rules, like are not easy. You have to be a good referee. He has to be practicing. He has to be in the sport. He has to live that. He had to compete. And I cannot get a referee from boxing and put to be the referee from Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Even if I give him a course and show, look, a book, he's not gonna be able to do that.
Things like that happen in Austria.
Happened a lot, and that's like.
That's what we want to fix.
That's what we want to fix. But to fix that, I think the first thing is we need to recognize Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the, I don't know, in the ministry of Austria, that they don't know what, if you say I want Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they don't know what the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. What is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? So in Austria, if is missing the first step. So, for example, Austrian guys like Martn, that is a black belt, respected black belt, he can go there and say, look, I represent this sport. I would like to register this sport here, like a different modality.
So Martn, you're the Austrian specialist. Exactly. What's your view on that? How would
responsibilities?
Yeah, it would be a good thing to do. They started something similar already. They tried to do with the Nevasa fighting. The thing is, for me, Jiu-Jitsu is hard. It's part of the traditional Jiu-Jitsu federation. And if you want to start something with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have to get something separated.
Exactly.
And that's not happening now. It's still part of the traditional.
And that's why it is the way it is, because it's completely different sport. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not judo. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not traditional Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not Nevasa. Yeah. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was modified by the Gracie family. And so it's another sport, Like I remember, sorry to interrupt you, but I remember that when I just came to Austria, there was a tournament and they asked, Orlando, can you bring your students? I said, of course, I'm gonna bring my students for this tournament. And then I took my student, I brought many guys, let's go, everybody, let's compete, everybody. A bunch of young boys. I said, okay, so let's go. Some guys were not even training so long, and then, okay. And then when I got there was only my students. And then they start putting making the brackets, who's gonna fight with who, and there was only my student fight again. So, and then I said, okay, and was organized by another martial art that I don't want to create conflict here. Don't talk the name and that, but it's good to avoid. So, like they didn't know themselves the rules, how it should be, the system, who should fight with that, and like I got there, I saw people with like any kind of belt. One was wearing a red belt, the other one things that does exist in my sport. So you invite me to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, but you don't know what you are doing. So and then like only my guys said, but I don't want to fight my teammate that I already train with him every day. If I want to do that, I do in the gym. I travel here far away and I pay to fight with my own guy. And then like I wanted to help. I said, look, it's not like that. That works. Like I can help you if you want. I was not welcome to give my opinion and that. So what happened? And then one guy, like Ricky said, they want to help this too. There was one guy that lost the fight there, and then they wanted to give him another chance. No, let's give him another chance. And then there was another guy there that was wearing glasses. He said, no, he cannot see. He has to fight with the glasses. I said, but how? So, there is something. I think I misunderstood. I'm coming to another place here, to the wrong address maybe, because the guy who wanted to fight with the glass, he said, no, you just have to tell your student to go easy because he doesn't see without glass. Mm-hmm. And then everybody was fighting different colors, and girl with men's and like.
What could be the next steps to make Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Austria more professional?
I think it has to be for whole Austria. I think now in Vienna they start doing something, especially with the Nevasa team. Of course, they're improving all the time. Sometimes they do some good stuff already, but I think it has to be for whole Austria. We have people in Vorarlberg, but they cannot take part so much. It's hard for them to go to training or something. This has to be a sport with the rules from Jiu-Jitsu. So of course we are all growing, and also these guys are growing. But I think if we don't start to make it professional, somebody else will come into the same again. and then there's no somebody else, and that's what we have now. We have IBJJF, we have ADCC, we have NAGA, we have everything, and it's all evolution. But so what is the core?
I think we obviously need to start by making it more popular. You know, the more people that know about it, the more people that have knowledge about it, the more people with knowledge about it, the more we could get some people interested in becoming the referees and making a sanctioned body so that they know the rules. They've done it, like he said. They have to have done it, and they have to know what's right for the rules, for the points, for the situation, advantages. And there have been things where they don't even know that. They're asking in the middle of the match. And the only way we could fix that is by people having the knowledge of this, by becoming more popular in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And eventually, we need to make a body. I agree with that. Austria needs to have some sort of sanctioned body for refereeing over this.
Yeah, I guess the first thing is to have the sport recognized in the sport Kammer, like in the sport Magistrat. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu should be recognized and separated from the other sport. You cannot be connected, because Thai boxing is not boxing. Judo is not Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Traditional Jiu-Jitsu is not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we have to have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu recognized and a separated sport.
I tried it already to do this, but it's hard to get to the Traditional Jiu-Jitsu Federation and to tell them we need a separation. So
I'm happy to hear that at least.
Yeah,
We're trying.
we have to.
That's
So
great
we
to
have
hear.
to keep trying,
These are
because
steps.
I have, for example, students from Japan that I ask them, do you know, they don't know traditional jiu-jitsu in Japan. They don't train it. That doesn't exist. If you go to America, to Brazil, sorry, but in Brazil, I didn't know that existed traditional jiu-jitsu. I got to know once I moved here to Austria, and we are different. I'm not saying who is better, who is worse, and that, but we are completely another sport. So we should be running by people who lived this sport, by the black belts that live this sport, has an history in this sport, and we cannot be led by somebody who doesn't know what it is about, you know. So we have to separate that. The first thing, once you can separate this, then we can attract sponsors, we can attract a tournament and that. But once you are together with something else, you depend of this, you know. So like, and this also, I think is not so hard. It's up to us black belts and trainers to choose what I'm gonna take part on this. I'm gonna take part on this. No, I don't take part on this here because this is not run by a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu professional. So I'm not gonna take part of that. If Martn make a tournament in Klagenfurt, I'm gonna be there tomorrow because I know that he is doing that and he's able to do that. He's professional, so I'm gonna take part on this. But if somebody else from another sport make a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament that they would call Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, but it is not, I'm not gonna take part on this tournament because to avoid that what I saw, I got traumatized. What I saw like 9 years ago, you know. So I don't want that because that's to protect my student. I don't want that the guys go there just to give money. I want them to go there to compete in what we train daily. I don't want to do another thing.
Like I said, it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the recognition because other people are going to come from other countries that maybe do know the rules and they think this is the way it is, and they will not want to come back to Austria to compete because they feel like they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
But you have to see the same happens in Germany too, and it took years to develop what they have now. So I think
But happened.
It happened, yes.
And it's developing here also. Like it's
takes
becoming
time.
very
I don't know much
popular
about Germany, to be honest, guys.
in Vienna, like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very popular. Like every day come new students in my gym or write me email or call me like all the time, like asking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and that. There are a lot of people training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Vienna. Of course, in the other smaller cities, it is a smaller proportion, but it's natural like also in Brazil, like in Rio, São Paulo is like the biggest focus, but everywhere. But it's gonna come all together. Vienna growing, every small city is gonna grow as well. But I saw the difference, like in the last 2 years, like it's a lot of people training, a lot of people searching, and because we are all together, growing in America, in Brazil, grow in the world, grow in Europe, and like everybody's connected. Austria is gonna grow also. You see, like you were talking about Germany, that it changed. Now it's like the things, like they separated, and there are different things. For example, there is one very big school in Germany that I mean in the world, that is the Checkmat. Okay, so like the head coach from the Checkmat, they forbidden them to take part in some competitions in Germany, because was not run by a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, how can I say, professionals, that the people who live the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So, like they had to make something have to change. Nowadays, you have around 2 or 3 IBJJF tournaments in Germany a year. You know, every year you have 2 or 3, yeah, and a lot of people training, in Germany. But also in Austria, there are also it's growing a lot. We just have to. It's time to make our own things. You know, to make.
Going back to Austria, I'm pretty new to this sport compared to you guys. To me, it sounds like there are different people in different bases starting good, but different things. How do you think could it help the teams to work together, and what are the possibilities to work together more probably?
I think the most important thing is the mindset again. Like you see, we are 3 people now sitting together, 4, but 3 from black belts, and sitting together, and we start to do something already. I think there are more people in Austria who could be part of this, and to try to get something bigger together. If we only think about ourselves, we will have a lot of federation one day and nobody cares what is jiu-jitsu. Exactly. But if we start to do something together, say the big teams that go together and we want to do something, start small. Don't start to hesitate and do it too fast. But that's a big step we could start doing. And I think there are more people who would join us. Some wouldn't join us, but yeah, that's part of the game, right?
I'm very happy to see Brazilian Jiu Jitsu growing here. Even from when I got here, and I've only been here for 5 years, I can see the number of students, I can see the caliber, the quality of people who are going out and competing, and it's getting better. You know, for me, it's a little difficult because where I come from, Florida, you know, we have so many practitioners, so many teams, so many schools, and it's a very, very popular sport. And I came from a very organized, huge way of the sport to here, where I'm doing everything I can to make it grow. I was a student when I got here. I was a student. I'm still a student. The problem is I'm one of the few black belts, and aside from Orlando, I don't know too many others that could be higher ranked than me. I still want to be a student. I just don't have that privilege. You know, so right now, my goal, what you were asking him about the 5 years, is to make this grow as much as possible so that we, all of us, can look back and say, we helped make that grow here. Because that's the only way it's going to get better here.
What could be the exact next step to make this happen? Do you think
I heard it's in his ballpark. He's got to help get it in the Magister or whatever, and he's already trying. That's great. That's great.
Ministerial, yeah.
Okay.
Ministerial. I think the first thing is to plant our seed there. You know, to say, look, we are Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and there are, I don't know, thousands of people training in Austria, and there are, so I don't know how many people training all over the world. In America, every 500 meters you go in California, there is a gym. But everywhere, like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu took over. It took over. It's like
It's one of the biggest
yeah.
growing sports right now in America.
It's took over. Like, so we have to. So for what to hide it? There are people, there are organizations that have the interest to hide it and to keep it as part of other things, so they can keep the control of that. But sometimes people say, "Yeah, Orlando talk too much," and like Orlando, he's too loud. But I cannot agree. If I see something like wrong, I simply sorry for why I have to agree with you. Why I have to do. Once I came here to Austria one time sometimes I'm criticized that I think I talk too less, because if it was, I think I'm too patient, because if it was other people, they would be even worse, you know. But a little bit that I talk, they Orlando, you are being too loud. When I got here in Austria, for example, I got invited from some like big guys, from head coaches from another sport, that they came to me, like it was the guys have the all support from the government, and they invited to me. I got my car, I drove, I sit in the table, and there were 6 of the big guys, and they introduced themselves. Hi, Orlando here, I'm that, and then they start talking, say, Orlando, look, I saw your school is getting big, your students are getting very good, but all your students, they have to associate here to our organization, because it's proved and was decided that our rules and our rules are the best in the world. And then once I sit there, like I swear to you, the meeting was about 5 or 10 minutes only, because I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what you are talking about. What rules the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is the IBJJF. So, and the guy said, no, our organization is the best in the world, is better. I said, but what you're talking about? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like you are another sport. We are not the same sport, you know. So and I'm not gonna accept that. And I, like the guys, no, but look, it's gonna be good for you also. I said, why? Are you gonna give me money? How much money are you gonna give me? I say, sorry, I'm not interested. I'm not gonna take part. Okay, and then they keep talking. I said anything else? Like they didn't know what to say anymore. I said, okay, I'm gonna leave. I stood up and I left. You know, so why I have to agree with something that is not in the same direction? We don't have the same mindset. Here we have the same mindset. We are because we speak the same language, you know. We live the sport, so we know where we should go, where we should go. But like, I cannot be connected to another sport that want to hide me, to take advantage from that, because we are growing much more than anyone, and the others are getting behind. So they are we need to keep the control somehow, and this is not gonna happen. We can work together. Yes, we can. You guys can train with me. I can train with you, whatever. But we are different things, you know. So I didn't accept that, and
we're pretty close to the last 5 minutes of our discussion. What could be the next steps to bring people like us together, to connect more within the scene, to communicate more, like probably open mats or small seminars? What do you think about that? If there would be seminars organized like every month somewhere else in Austria, could that probably
seminars
happen?
We are having many seminars, included today. We have a seminar. If everybody who can take part, is going to be nice. Martn is going to show some techniques for us, okay, some new stuff. Ricky also, and we are having a lot of seminars, and like I think like we should have more meetings. The black belts, the guys who are professional on this sport, so we could try to follow the same steps and same direction, everybody. Yeah.
Do you want to add something, guys?
I think part of every relationship is how we communicate and each other. And if you speak, if you look to the same direction, we will get somewhere. But I think seminars is good, but this already exists. If we want to do something for Austria, we need to start something with a tournament, something where we say, okay, this is where we want to go. This is what how we see it could go in a direction for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, not something else. I think there are already people who are trying to do this, but I think there needs to be something else, something which is close to IBTGF. And I think, yeah, we have to start with getting know it to each other. And if we trust each other, then we can start something.
Yeah. About the tournaments and seminars, I think both would be phenomenal. A seminar every month is probably overkill, honestly, because you have to keep them interested. You have class every day. They should be showing up to that. The seminar is for the people that don't do it as much, or for the people that want to see something specific for their game, and that's what you go over. That can't be every month.
Probably 3 open mats.
I like the concept of open mats. I like the concept of open mat, maybe not every week, but once or twice a month, and letting teams openly train together. The reason being is the more styles you see, the more styles that you have to go up against, the better your game, your style, your fighting style becomes. Because what happens when you're with the same people over and over is you learn those people. And you're no longer doing what you would do against someone you don't know. You're specifically going for that person. And yeah, that does help you isolate your game plan for certain people. But in a tournament, are you going against your teammates? You should not be. You should not be. Yeah, working together, we all have to come together. We have to. I've never been somewhere, and we have rivalries in Florida. We have different teams we don't like, but normally that's like my team doesn't like this team. It's not like my team doesn't like any other team. People here are worried about you going one day somewhere else. I tell all my students, try. Go everywhere. Go everywhere. Please find out what's best for you. The people that are saying don't go anywhere, I think they're scared they're going to lose their student because they know there's better out there. I'm not so worried. I know the quality of my techniques. And I think all of y'all know the quality of your techniques if you're sitting here at this table. And you're not worried if someone were to go to another gym that they're not coming back. You know that your student will be like, hey, it was really cool. I don't even ask them what they did. I don't care. I don't care. Go have fun, come back, train as much as you can. That's all I want. I think that's the only way we can get people. If each team is fighting each other, if we can't get along with each other, there's no way we can build something up because we can't even get along now. We have to get along to build everything up. I hope I answered.
As highest rank in Austria, Lander, do you wanna? The last words are up to you.
Yeah. About open mat, like I'm a little bit old school, you know. Like I cannot like open mat. I have open mat in my gym. The open mat I have in my gym is for the members, like because we all here. Like I live jiu-jitsu. I trained a lot. Like we spend more time learning jiu-jitsu than in the university, you know, and I only live from that. I only have, so we should be well paid to do that, okay? And for example, and we have to take care of our house, you know, like the open mat is there, okay, great. I'm not against my, I even recommend my students to visit other schools. Okay, that's, no, however, whatever school. Okay. You're going to travel, visit the school. You go to Klagenfurt, go to Martn, because I'm interested that they get better. I want them to improve, so I want them to visit. But the open mat becomes like, for me, it sounds a little bit sometimes like, I'm going to open a new school here, in Vienna. I said, I'm going to a new school. So what I'm going to do, give it for free a lot, you know, because then after people are going to, couple people are going to stay here. So, guys, everybody can train for free. Like twice a week, you guys can come here. The gym is open. Everybody can use it. Let's go. So, like, you can come here. So, okay, it's your kind of marketing. If you're, for example, in the street, when you have a new perfume, okay, whatever people are offering, oh, take a look of this, take this and that, okay. But it's not my case. Like, so I don't work off like that. I don't like it. Rivalry in the sport, okay, on the mat, it's very important to make the sport grow. That's how Jiu-Jitsu grew in Rio, because there was a big rivalry between Gracie Barra and Carson Grace. And that's the only, if there is no rivalry, the sport doesn't grow. There is no competition, there is no media, so it's not interesting, okay? And for example, the Real Madrid, the soccer player from Real Madrid doesn't train in Barcelona. Or he doesn't train in Barcelona. Isn't it? The Manchester doesn't train in Arsenal, or he train everywhere. No, he doesn't train. Okay, you can make a visit. My students, yeah, they can make a visit, but open mat, like the mat is already like very full. Like, so some people want to take advantage. So the guy, no, like I was making fun of a friend of mine. He lives in a city, like that the guy pay in one school, and he keep training in all the schools. I said, but man, look, you work a lot, you work hard. The guy pay here, and then he go there. Like, I don't find it fair. You know, you are giving. During my class, I sweat more. Even if I don't train, I sweat more than my students. Like, I go home like without voice. You know, I put all my energy on it. You know, so we should, like, if you want to train in my gym, you have to become a member, and you're gonna train there. Okay. Of course, we have our affiliated, like Rick in Linz, in Graz. We have also Luciano. We have in Tirol, and that's another story. Okay, that everybody get together. Everybody's free to come here, to go there, and that. But the open mats have to be considered. Some guys from another martial art, then come some guys sometimes to me. Orlando, I'm gonna fight MMA. Can I come once a week to your gym? I said, but like, first you're gonna hurt my beginners. You're gonna hurt the girls. Like, do you know the rules? Do you know what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is? So as I said in the beginning of the interview, like, the mat is our temple. You have to know who's step on it. In Brazil, it's still most of the schools, like, the students don't step on the mat before the master come. So, you know, we have to consider that.
You can train in other gyms, but stay respectful, stay loyal to your club.
You can visit the other gyms, of course, because I want you to get better. So I want you to visit other gyms. I want you to do that. But the open mat, who's gonna come here? Okay, you wanna come to visit my school? Okay, so write me an email. I'm gonna come, and that you're very welcome on that. But I'm not gonna open my house and leave it open. You can enjoy it. You can, like, you don't even know what you're doing.
We've reached the time limit of our discussion. Sorry for interrupting you, but thank you very much, guys. It was really an honor. Thank you. It was really a pleasure to have you here. An honor. We have a great seminar together, and let's make BJJ grow in Austria. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick, for the invitation and for the interview.